What is going on, everybody? Man, Micah's back with another video. Back here to talk about the iPad Pro from 2022 with the M2 chip. Yes, laptop, desktop, PC silicone chip in this bad boy of an iPad Pro. Talking about it about 2 to 3 years after use. How has it held up? Has it been doing very well? What has been going on with it? What are my thoughts now that I finally experienced an iPad A and then B, experiencing a powerhouse iPad? And with the accessories, does it complete a workflow experience that one may be looking for? We're about to get into all of that in this video. So before we start, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys ignite that like button, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. So that way you know it's my video, so that way we can sit back, chillax, to see what's cracking. Now, let's get into the video. And the first thing we're gonna, of course, talking about is accessories. I got y'all. Y'all thought I was gonna go hardware. Gone accessories. Why is that? Because that's what really completes the tablet experience. It's one thing to just have a tablet, but it's a whole nother to actually have accessories to make use and utilize the tablet in a much better way. I don't know too many people that just has a tablet with no case, no keyboard case, no stand, no stylus, pen, pencil, accessory, the whole nine. I don't know too many people that just has an outright tablet, even for their children. So, how have the accessories been with the iPad Pro? Well, let me tell you something right now. The S Pen has been interesting. I will say that. The Apple Pencil second generation is a very nice pen. So, very nice. I had to pause because I'm so used to saying pen from Samsung's, ecosystem. The S Pen, this is the Apple Pencil. This is a very nice pencil. It's a little bit long, in my opinion. Probably could be a little shorter. But outside of that, I haven't really had that many use cases for my bigger tablet, which is kind of crazy. And it's probably because of the keyboard case that we'll get into shortly. But I haven't had as much use for the Apple Pencil as I have for the iPad Air M1 chip. The reason being is because of you having a keyboard and just being so used to, touch user interfacing, interacting with touch. It kind of almost feels an extra step to take the pencil, undock it from the side of the iPad Pro, and then to grab the pencil and then begin use. I also don't draw, so that's another use case that I don't have for the Apple Pencil. Now, highlighting or notating stuff that I'm, note keeping for that perspective, I would even say, sometimes if it's just a little bit far away, you just want to kind of keep yourself at a distance from the tablet, using the pencil from that perspective to be a pointer device for you has been decent. And of course, signing documents is where this really comes in handy for non-drawers. But for somebody that doesn't do a lot of drawing and really does a lot more typing than anything, the Apple Pencil hasn't been as productive for me as, others may deem it to be. Even for video editing purposes, I don't have to use this to video edit, really. Like, it's kind of nice to have to kind of, press and hold and drag and drop and all that type of stuff, or select something in particular with the Apple Pencil. So it has those nuanced, small, use cases. But for me, as nice of a pencil this is, for my iPad Pro, I haven't had that much use for the Apple Pencil. Now, docking this to the side here and picking up the tablet and opening the tablet and getting to the keyboard. The keyboard now, I have had much great use with the keyboard case. Being able to use the touchpad to get around, to use the gestures, the swipe gestures, the three-handed. Well, you got to have an app open. So let's just open, for the sake of argument, the JW Library app. And then 3-finger swipe up. You can, reach the recent apps menu. 3 up, you're back home. 2 swipe down to get to your spotlight search. tap somewhere on the screen to make it go away. You can actually physically tap the touchpad. All the buttons work. The backlitness of it is pretty nice, comes in handy. It's very ambient and relatively automatic, relying on like the camera sensors and I think Face ID to help recognize how much this really needs to be bright, depending on the scenario in which you're using it. All that I find to be very good, has not gotten away. Also has not seeped battery life on this. That's something I've also noticed, whether it is the Apple Pencil or the Magic Keyboard. I haven't had any problems with battery drain from either accessory. And those are really the two accessories that I use for this. I have a folio case, so when I'm not using this, it's in the folio case, but now again that I have an iPad Air to do other mundane tasks on, I don't even really have to take this out of the keyboard case. I can just leave it in the Magic Keyboard case and maintain use that way while doing all the other stuff in the folio case on the iPad Air M1. That's about it for accessories. Now we get into the hardware and undocking it from the keyboard, removing the keyboard, and showing off this beautiful hardware we have here. We have a 12.9-inch Super Retina XDR display, just maintained in this beautiful aluminum frame with the what looks to be cellular connectivity bars, but this is a Wi-Fi model. You got your two cameras housed on the back here. You get two 12-megapixel cameras, a wide and an ultra wide. And you have Face ID there slotted in the wrong spot. Surprisingly, for 2022, consider this came out post-COVID, it's kind of interesting that this did not get moved to the more landscape position. I don't know why they didn't do that. It's not necessarily weird using them way over here, but I am used to the centered cameras in landscape mode from the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra that I was using throughout the year. And then, of course, topped off with USB-C, which should be Thunderbolt 3 or Thunderbolt 4. And then you get 4 studio quality tuned speakers along with 5 studio quality mics. All that sounds great. And you really take advantage of those cameras with Final Cut Pro on the iPad. But from a hardware perspective, not really heavy, feels pretty good. Of course, this one is super light, but this one feels really, really good in the hands. It can be awkward sometimes because sometimes because I really do use this one a lot. 12.9 can seem a little bit more bigger. I've actually kind of been able to tweak my perspective on tablet size now that I've been away from Samsung's Tab S8 Ultra. But it's not bad to hold, especially if you're not listening to anything from the tablet. Being able to hold it like this is perfect. Being able to hold it in portrait orientation like this, one hand like that, one hand like that. You know, that's where you can get your fingers on or get your pencil on. And of course, I'm right-handed with the pencil. So this is what I would do right here, right? You know, I can't really do a lot of swiping. Let's say I want to go to, well, that's one of the things I don't like. There you go. Software. One of the problems I have with the Apple Pencil is it has to magnetically dock to the tablet in order to connect, as opposed to just using it on the display like Samsung's S Pen. That's something I don't like. So see, now with the hover, with the Apple Pencil, this is where it's kind of cool, kind of comes in handy. Some things it will enlarge if it hovers, but it's very rare use cases that takes place in. But for the most part, it's fine from a software perspective. Of course, knowing your angles and pressure sensitivity, especially if you're like a drawer or doing a lot of different writing, it makes your handwriting more personable, but also your ability to create art much more personable and more creative because of those additional features. But that software connectivity situation with the Apple Pencil is a little annoying, because if you don't have the second gen and you have the USB-C Apple Pencil or the first gen, you got to go into settings and actually go to Bluetooth and probably connect that way. And that would be annoying if you have multiple tablets, which means you might have to buy multiple pencils and just assign them to each of your tablets. But otherwise, from a software perspective, has it been really cumbersome? I would just say it's just relatively limited. Now, of course, as you see, I got DaVinci Resolve right here. That is my main edit of use. And again, shout out to Apple. I've been recording the last few of my videos, all my iPad videos that I played, recorded so far, and the few shorts that I put out so far, all been recorded, including this current video being recorded right now, all from the iPhone 15 Pro. So from a computational photography perspective, using software in that way, it really has hyped up shooting again from a smartphone, at least for myself personally. And I'll be speaking a little bit more on the cameras, but that's just something to keep in mind when we talk about the iPhone 15 Pro down the line. I have a review coming up for that. But in terms of this, as I again stated before, Final Cut Pro allows you to use the cameras right here to use ProRes on the iPad Pro. So it shows you the capabilities that we have for the cameras. It's just you have to utilize other pieces of software, and I think that's where it can actually show a little bit of cumbersomeness. But overall, because I don't use cameras in that way with my tablet, that's not a big deal. It's the everyday functionality that's a big deal for me. And that's where it's nice to have Center Stage. Center Stage works very well because it allows you to swap through things with no problems. Swipe back, bring this back, and then of course, you can overlay apps on top of each other. So do that, and look at that. I got 3 apps all overlaid, and of course you can resize them by that little indicator right there. You can resize them and get what you need out of it. But of course with YouTube, I want to be a little larger, but you can effectively kind of do 4 apps, around each corner of the tablet to really utilize the display and your productivity with the iPad Pro. And I think that's really, really nice. Center Stage is on the iPad Air, but for 11 or 10.9 inches, right? Not even 11. I feel like it's just a tad bit small for something of this nature. Now, you could probably, of course, get away with it depending on what you're using. I'm just saying for the iPad Pro, it definitely works because of how big it is. And we know next year we most likely will be going a smidgen up to 13 inches, maintaining the 4:3 aspect ratio. So that gives us even additional screen real estate to use with our tablets and our work productivity. And that's really what I like about it. Streaming media-wise is not a problem. And of course, with the display tech, it looks beautiful. I am looking forward to the OLED that they will be coming out with next year. Much needed, much overdue from that perspective. And with that OLED coming, what other software will be attaching itself to iPad OS 18 to really change the game for the iPads? Because when you think about it, the iPads need different software than iOS. iPad OS is basically a glamorized iOS for the tablet. There's not much variation other than apps just being optimized for a tablet view. But we need more versatility from that perspective when it comes to software for these tablets. Shout out to Apple TV as well, looking beautiful on iPads and coming out with some pretty good shows to watch. Monarch, I'm looking forward to watching that. I don't know why it won't let me scroll now all of a sudden. And that's one of the software things that can be a little weird. Oh, I had to actually see. So because it's a full screen app, or I have it full screen, see right here, I can change it if I want to. But because it's a streaming app, I have it full screen. But if I swipe over, now we're good. So I thought I was having an issue, and it was just a lapse on my side. But that is a software for the most part with the tablet. We need more versatility, more desktop level experience, especially for something that has a desktop silicone in it, in the M2 chip, which also has been very, very nice. The only thing that really throws any hiccups towards it is DaVinci Resolve. Every other app that I use, including streaming, including Lightroom, does not really bog it down. But the minute you throw some good Apple ProRes or a long 30-minute, as in like one of my last recent videos, you throw a 30-minute Apple ProRes video, oh, you're gonna feel a little burn. You're gonna feel a little burn. That battery will start seeping, especially rendering a video in 4K in that nature. But I can happily say that battery life has been amazing on this tablet. I have thrown a lot of things at it. I also have not charged it in a couple days. And as you guys can see, I'm sitting at 42%. And just to back that up, let's go ahead and find battery. And if we load up here, as you guys can see, the battery level has been fine throughout the day. Last charged was Monday, 7:33 a.m. So yeah, that's effectively over 2 days, going on almost 2.5 days. I have not charged this device, and I'm still sitting at 42%. And I did edit 2 YouTube Shorts videos. Now, granted, that's basically 2 minutes worth of content, but I still did edit that as well, and I still rocking with 42% battery life on the iPad Pro. So you're getting, what's the word I'm looking for? It will be there when you need it. Standby time is amazing on this. Being able to work on this is amazing, and it knows how to utilize and be efficient with its power usage, its power consumption while using powerhouse apps. And that's something that I really, really appreciate about this iPad Pro, is that not only is it beautiful and gorgeous, but it is there when I need it. And I have had no regrets using this for my workflow. With that being said, I spent $2,000 on this. This is the 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte version of the iPad Pro, which may also help with me getting those types of activities done. Thus, the reason why I opted for this model. Now, considering I spent $2,000 on this, I probably could have just spent another, $400 to $500 and could have maxed out a M2 MacBook Air. Would I have wanted to do that? See, that's the thing. Would I have wanted to actually carry around a whole laptop as opposed to having the option to laptop this out with the Magic Keyboard? And that's where, like, for me, because I'm so used to working off of a tablet, I have not worked off of a laptop like ever. Like I do from work, but I'm just saying, like, on an everyday, daily basis for the stuff that I normally do at home, I don't use a laptop. I don't use a desktop. So for me, it's almost hard trying to move on from the tablet and move into something like a laptop or a desktop. And it's like, because I appreciate my tablet so much, should I go with a laptop or should I go with a desktop to definitely kind of divide and separate the workflows? So I have a stronger beast at home that I can take advantage of for editing content, and that just stays at home, and that's what it is. And this is my on-the-go device where I do a lot of my editing outside of the little home office. Or do I get a laptop and still do the same thing, where I have 3 different mobile devices I could take anywhere with me? The laptop is the powerhouse, but I could choose to edit off of this as well, and I could still dock it to a real nice display. So if I go laptop, either way, I need a display for the desktop or the laptop. But, it's like, what's the push and pull? And that's where this kind of gets interesting, because next year we know we're getting new display tech, and iOS 18 is supposed to be changing the game. Hopefully that's the same for the iPad OS 18. But will this change the game from a chip perspective? Will we get an M3 Pro chip in this? I definitely hope so. And if we do, then I definitely can stay with the tablet. And if I need more screen real estate, hopefully with iPad OS 18, it makes it even easier to use this tablet with a display, where this is essentially a laptop that I dock into a very nice, most likely Apple Studio display of some kind, of some sort. Hopefully they up those as well. And that's the workflow. Everything's from the tablet. I don't need the laptop. And if I really do want to get a laptop, I'm not looking at a MacBook Pro. I'm probably just looking at a MacBook Air, something I could just use just to surf around and just do things and have a laptop just cause. And I don't, max out the MacBook Air, of course. That's what I'll probably do still. Let's not act like we're not going to do that. But I don't need to spend additional money and get a MacBook Pro. I can spend all that money on the tablet and a MacBook Air to still fulfill certain needs of that nature. And maybe the tablet stays docked now, or maybe the MacBook Air stays docked, but still making sure I find a use case for all the technology. And that's where I'm at, is what's the next step and how do I utilize it in my workflow? Because the tablet is technically taking care of my workflow right now, outside of additional power being needed, because render times is slower on this. So as much as it's been handling everything, video render times is slower. Like that it took 34 minutes to render that 30-minute ProRes video, whereas if I had an MX Pro chip, M1 Pro, M2 Pro, M3 Pro, M1 Max, M2 Max, M3 Max, M2 Ultra, If I had any of those chips, that render time severely probably drops off to like 14 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes, as opposed to 34 minutes of time. That's a lot of time I can save with an upgrade of that nature. So it's just a matter of how do I want to go about that. A Mac Mini, a Mac Studio, a MacBook Pro. that's where I'm at. But it's interesting because all this talk is about, could I recommend this tablet? If you have a strong enough workflow like Photoshop, 3D rendering, video editing, whether it's with DaVinci or Final Cut. DaVinci's going to be more power hungry than Final Cut, in my opinion. But regardless, if your workflow is of that nature, of a creative nature, I can recommend it for you. If your workflow is not of a creative nature, or your creative nature is short form content like shorts, like reels, like TikTok videos, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not really doing 4K editing, then you don't need the 16 gigabyte, 1 terabyte model, unless you want the storage. You can easily do the 8 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, or potentially even the 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gig, or just get the 11-inch. Get the 11-inch model because you don't need all that screen real estate. Get the 11-inch and go 512, and you'll cut that price basically near in half. You'll spend, instead of $2,000, you'll spend, maybe $1,300, $1,400 on the 11-inch. LCD panel as opposed to mini LED, but you still get the workflow you need. And if you don't even do that level of content creation or real busy, power hungry based app productivity workflows, I recommend the MacBook Air M1 chip or as your companion. And if you just want a little media consumption device, something a little notepad-ish, I would love to test the iPad mini, because I could probably easily recommend that, even not trying it, as a device for you to have for those type of workflows, or essentially just entertainment purposes. Grab a 10.9-inch iPad 10th generation or iPad mini. You don't even need to go with the iPad Air, although the price is discretionary. It's very comparable to an iPad mini with 256 gigs. It's about like a $50 to $100 difference. At that point, it's just size and chip. And maybe for the value, go for the iPad Air over the iPad mini. But if you don't need no big screen, get the iPad mini. But in terms of the iPad Pro, if you're looking for daunting work tasks, this takes the cake. I can recommend it. So let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about the iPad Pro. Do you use one? Do you like iPads? Do you like Apple? Let me know in the comment section below. But again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, the notification bell, so that way it's my videos. So that way we can sit back so I can see what's cracking. Again, shout out to you guys. I definitely appreciate you guys supporting the channel, still being here. Some of you guys are still day ones from the very beginning. We're well on our way up. We're finding new ways to create content and bring value to you guys' lives and purchasing decisions and with some entertainment value. You know what I'm saying? Like that's got to be part of the equation. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying, hopefully I'm bringing that to you guys. So again, thank you guys. I know when I upload the video, a lot of you guys enjoy some time off. Enjoy your time off from the grind. Rest up, relax, have some fun. Get yourself ready to start work again next week. Your man Micah signing out, and until the next video, wait for it.